Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this evening's webinar, The Three Keys to Attracting True Love. And I hope it was that title that got you to want to be here, The True Love, because for me, it's not just about finding that partner, looking for that ideal partner of yours, but it is about attracting true love. And I'm using the word attracting because it's not so much as looking and finding and searching as much as it is attracting this true love to you. And, I'm always saying that if you're going to be in a relationship, you might as well make it epic, right? So the true love is the genuineness of it. We want to be in a relationship with this person that sees us. Just imagine for a moment what it would feel like if you had a partner in your life that really, truly gets you, that understands you, that supports you, that loves you unconditionally, the person that you can love unconditionally, that person that acknowledges you for what you bring, where you see each other and you don't want your partner to become another version of yourself, but you can both accept each other for who you are. Now, these kind of relationships, you may be thinking as I'm saying this, like, does this person actually exist? And I'm going to say absolutely, because more and more today we find that people are not settling for those mediocre relationships where you're happy on the outside. So, when you look at the social media posts, there's all the anniversaries and the birthdays and the dinners out and all of that is the external picture. But behind closed doors, the disconnect is there and felt. So today, we don't want to settle for that anymore. We want the deep connection. And I'm finding this more and more after the lockdown. Like people have become aware. I think the lockdown, put people in isolation long enough for us to introspect and really ask those deeper questions like, who am I? What is it that I really want? So if I'm alone, then what is it that I want in a partner, in a relationship, right? And if I'm in a relationship, then those questions came up is this what I really want? Right. So why me to talk about a topic like this to help you to attract that great epic relationship? Well, I've been at this for 23 years now. It is my absolute passion. When somebody comes to me and says, we've done this kind of work and now I'm in this relationship and it is different from any other relationship I've been in before. That for me is the magic, because if we're going to repeat the mistakes of the past, then we haven't really learned anything. And, as long as we're all here, we're all adults, the majority of us have been in more than one relationship already. And if you're seeing the patterns that, I've had this relationship, it didn't work out. It starts off great. So we feel like we have this amazing connection with somebody. And then after a while, what happens? Then we see, oh, you're not the person I fell in love with. This is not what I signed up for. So when we want to attract true love, when we want to create these epic relationships, it means that we've got to do something differently. And I think for me, the search around relationships, understanding it, started when I got divorced, which, I can't even remember now. I think it's like 26, 27 years ago. And you ask the questions, why do bad things happen to good people? Like, I know I'm a good person. He was a good person too. I'm not going to deny that at all. But somehow we got to a point where we couldn't make it work. And the reason we couldn't make it work is because we were so young. We didn't even understand ourselves, let alone trying to understand each other. We had no clue how to create a relationship that was meaningful, where we could grow together, we could allow ourselves to be who we are. We had no clue. We did not have the tools to create this epic relationship. That is what was missing, right? So In the first few years, it was, if you're a man, stay the hell away from me. I was just not interested in getting into any other relationship because it hurt so much, right? And I'm sure you all understand the pain of a breakup, of something that you thought was here to last the rest of your life, and then suddenly it's just not there. And you start asking all of these questions. Somebody's mic is on. If you can just please mute yourself for the presentation, and then after that you can unmute for questions. So what I did is I went on a search. I interviewed over 1,000 people who were single, people who were divorced, the single ones, to see where's the challenge. Why is it so difficult to find somebody that is a match for you? Not just find somebody, but find that right person for you. And then people who are divorced, to see, why did this not work out? And then the most important group of people were those that were in happy relationships for 30, 40, 50 years. There was one couple that were together for 60 years. They were in their 80s when I interviewed them, right? And I wanted to see, why is it that some relationships work so well and others don't? Why is it that some people find it so easy to find partners and others don't? And as I did this exercise, I found that there was a pattern that was starting to emerge. And I kind of like stumbled on these 3 keys where, if people followed this process, then they were more likely to attract people into their lives that were compatible partners with whom they could build a solid relationship, a sustainable relationship, right? And so, I started sharing it with a couple of people, and then I put programs together, workshops together, afternoon workshops, and then online stuff. And I found that as people went through, they followed these 3 keys, it kind of unlocked something. And I found that more and more of these people that completed this process were attracting true love. Not just somebody to keep you company, to say, I'm in a relationship, for social media, but inside it's like all the fighting and the argument and the undercurrents and things like that happening. But genuine love, so that we could create these sustainable relationships. So, the deeper I went into relationships, understanding them, then the invites started coming through from all the radio stations, different magazines, newspapers. I've written now over 80 articles for different newspapers. I have a YouTube channel with about 85 videos on there. So I really took a deep dive. It's become my life's passion, to help people find true love and create those epic relationships. And I've created now a community that I want to build, called the Love Evolution, where it's a community of people that are coming together. And there are some amazing people in this community already, where we're not just looking at settling, mediocre relationship, mediocre jobs, mediocre health and well-being, mediocre happiness in our lives. It's a group of people that are ready to thrive in all of these areas of our lives. And what I've realized is that it doesn't matter if we're talking relationships, or we're talking work, or we're talking finances, or we're talking health and well-being, our sense of happiness. We are at the center of everything that is happening in our lives, right? So the Love Evolution looks at all areas of our lives, but it focuses mainly on ourselves. Who am I? What am I? What do I bring to the table? What is my purpose here? What's my passion? In a relationship, who do I want to be? What do I want to experience? And what kind of partner do I want to attract into my life? What kind of relationship do we want to build together? Can you see, it's not happening by chance. We're not leaving it to chance. We're saying, I want to do this consciously with awareness. Because in the past, I must admit that every relationship I've ever been in, I was chosen. So somebody looked at me and thought, oh, I like this woman, and, started the conversations and whatever. And I didn't really do the choosing. And now I've realized that two people need to make this choice consciously. That is how we create these amazing epic relationships. So let's just dive straight in. What are the three keys to attracting true love to you? The first key is you have to remove the blocks to love. How do you know if you have blocks to love? Very easy. You're single, right? If you didn't have these blocks to love, that partner, that true love would already be in your life. You'd already be living this epic relationship. But the fact that this person is not here means that there are some blocks to love. And there's various blocks, right? So if you look at this woman, there's a wall. This wall is what we put up. So all of the blocks to love, let's look at them, right? So sometimes we have outer challenges, and this is the world that we're living in right now. The majority of people are meeting their partners online. So there's dozens and dozens of dating apps that you can go on. There's millions of people on the dating apps. But the challenges are that a lot of these profiles are fake profiles. Then you connect with somebody and you think, oh, this is amazing. But then it's the endless texting back and forth, and you're not really meeting in real life, right? That's not a relationship. That is a pen pal. That's all it is, okay? And there are far too many people that don't really want a relationship. So it suits them to just sit on the couch and just text multiple people, whoever's available, to get them out of the boredom, right? Then there's the ghosting that happens when you think this is the person. And I've actually had people say to me, I thought this was my soulmate. And suddenly the person just disappears. They ghost you. They don't respond to text. They don't answer calls. They just fall off the face of the earth. And that is really difficult for someone that's been ghosted. I did a whole video on that one, right? And then there's other people that are looking for the hookups. I don't really want a relationship. And my guess is if you're on this webinar, then you're not looking for the hookups. You're actually looking for a meaningful relationship. So when it's online dating, we don't know. A lot of the time people say they want something serious, but it just gets dragged on and on and on. I've met people who wasted 2 years of their life just chatting with people, and it's not really getting into a relationship, right? And I think for those people that are not online, because a lot of people are quite averse to online dating and going on apps and so on, then they say, I don't know where to find my ideal partner. I mean, really, where do you go today to meet somebody that is of the same caliber as yourself? More importantly than these external challenges are the internal challenges. So when you come across all of these ones that you've seen now, it's like you've been ghosted, you put a couple of bricks on this wall of yours. You come across a fake profile there, you put a couple more bricks on the wall. You think somebody is serious, but then they only want to hook up, you're putting 20 more bricks on your wall, right? But the internal challenges add a lot more bricks to this wall. So you've been hurt before. You're a human being. You've been hurt before, right? And when we get hurt, we really don't know how to deal with that pain most of the time because nobody's taught us that. Nobody's taught us how to create these epic relationships, and nobody's actually taught us how to deal with the pain that relationships bring. So when we feel we've been hurt, we've been rejected, somebody's cheated on us, somebody's lied to us, somebody's stolen from us, then this is where we're putting up 200 bricks on this wall, right? So the wall is just getting higher and higher. Sometimes in your mind, you're sitting down and you're thinking, I wonder if this person that I want actually exists. Do they really exist? Or is it just in my imagination and I'm never going to find someone like that? You may be thinking you're better off alone. And this usually happens when all of us have that particular friend or relative Every time you're with them, all they do is complain about their relationship. They complain about their partner. They did this, they said that, and it's just the complaining. And if you listen to that often enough, you get to the point and you think, maybe I'm better off alone because I don't want to be in a situation like that. All right. Or you could be in your comfort zone. And this I'm finding more and more often because the clients I work with are independent people. So they either, um, have a career that's booming or they have their own business. And they've created this home, the space for themselves. I leave home at a certain time. Maybe I go to gym. I get to work at a certain time. I've got these things sorted in my day. I have this closed group of friends and I meet with them on the weekend. And, I've got all of these things and I've created this really beautiful, comfortable life. And I'm wondering, if I let somebody in here, are they actually going to maybe disrupt what I've created, right? So there's another couple of bricks on your wall there. It could be that you lack the confidence to actually put yourself out there. Most of us are in our genius zone when it comes to work. So when it comes to our work, because we spent years and years and years studying, starting at the bottom, gaining experience, we've spent all these years, that has become our genius zone. And a lot of the times it becomes our excuse as well. So I'm very confident there. But when it comes to relationships, I haven't really put in the time and the energy to learn how to communicate in a way that I'm heard, how to resolve conflict when it happens, how to heal the hurt when that occurs, right? I haven't learned about attachment styles or love languages, so I don't know these things. So I'm not as confident there as I am in my genius zone. And then one of the biggest internal challenges is a lack of self-worth. Now, confidence and self-worth is definitely not the same thing. Most of the people I meet actually have confidence, right? Again, because of the genius zone. So they are quite confident people. But worthiness, a sense of self-worth is it's an inner feeling that I'm worthy of this great love. And a lot of the times we have this little voice inside our heads that say, oh, but who am I to ask for all of this? When we're in a relationship, we don't always say what we need to say. And the reason we don't do it is because we don't want to disrupt what is happening. We're in this relationship and we feel, I just want to, sorry, I'm letting people into the room as I'm talking. So forgive me for losing my train of thought there. But where was I? The self-worth, right? So inside of us, there's that voice going, like, who am I to think this is what I deserve? Or if I say this, then my partner's going to leave. So maybe it's better I don't say it. So I meet some of the most incredible human beings, when I'm sitting in front of a client and I look at them and I see who they are and what they bring to the table, there's just so much goodness there. But a lot of the time they don't see that, right? So that they have that little voice in their heads, like, who do you think you are? That kind of voice. So the self-worth is something that is so huge. I would say that's another 200 bricks on this wall. So all of these bricks creating this wall, this block, we feel that this is keeping me safe, right? So here's my wall and this is keeping me safe. But what it's actually doing is it's not just keeping the hurt out, it's also keeping the love out. Because that person, that true love, when he or she wants to approach you, you've got this big wall up, which means they can't get through that wall. They can't reach you. You are invisible. And how much of the time do you feel like I've got so much to offer and yet I can't find that person? It's because all of these blocks here have created this massive wall, and that's keeping that love on the outside. Then we have what I call the relationship myths. This also, adds lots and lots of bricks to your wall. When we say, when I find the right person, I will be happy. How often do we say that? So we're just getting by in life. We're going to work, we're working hard, we're getting stuff done. But inside of us, we know that we're not really happy. So we're waiting for that person to come in. It's like, when I find the right person, I will be happy. And this is one of the biggest relationship myths. The truth here is that when you are happy, the right person will come in, not the other way around. So you see why I say doing the work here, this is me. If I'm focused on myself, and if I'm focused on being the right person, on being happy, on loving my life, loving who I am, loving what I do, when I focus on that and I'm happy, it's a completely different energy. Now I attract that right person to me, right? It's not that the right person is going to come and make you happy. That's not possible. The other myth is that with the right person, it will be easy. So what happens is we meet people and we think, oh, this is a little bit of an obstacle here. We have 9 things that I love, but this one thing here I don't really like. And we think, no, if this was the right person, it would be easy. Everything would flow. And we don't want to do the work to look at that one area. And I promise you this, so many people break up with someone because of that one thing that they find. And that is a huge myth, to think that with the right person, everything's going to be perfect. Everything's going to fall into place. Everything's going to be easy, right? Huge myth. Because in relationships, there's that part. There's like three different categories, right? The one category is the stuff you have in common. That is the glue that keeps you together. That is, all the stuff you're going to do together. You're going to build this life together, common values, all of that. Then there's the second category where you've got differences, but it doesn't really impact the other person, right? For example, one person loves playing golf. The other one likes to sit at home and read. So it's different, but you can go do your thing and you can do your thing, and it doesn't really impact the other person, right? Then there's the third area, and this is a crucial area in any relationship, and it is a necessary area as well. This is where you have differences, but it does impact the other person. So if someone has a difference in terms of religion, or the way we raise kids, or, in terms of keeping the house neat, who does what around the house, cooking, types of food. So those things do affect the other person. And this is the area where you will grow the most, because you're going to come together, and this is where you have to negotiate. This is where you have to hear the other person out and understand things from their perspective. This is where you're going to deepen your communication skills in terms of explaining why you do things a certain way, why you like things a certain way. And then you're gonna look at it and say, okay, how are we going to negotiate? How are we going to find a resolution to this that is win-win? And when you each of those challenges that you overcome together creates a stronger bond between the two of you. So with the right person, it's not just simply easy. That's another myth, right? Then there's another myth that says the problem is that the good ones are taken. So that's an easy myth to dispel, because you're single, you're a good person, you're here. So that is definitely a myth. It's not a fact, right? we often I hear women say, men today don't want commitment. And if I could just say to you the number of men that contact me because they really truly want a partner. The online apps have got 75% men and 25% women. Okay, so that myth is out the window. And then I hear men say, women today don't really need men. They're smart, they're independent, they have their own lives, they can take care of themselves, so they don't really need men. And it doesn't matter how successful, strong, independent a woman is, she still craves connection. So does the man. Right? As human beings, we are built for connection. Okay. Oh, and then there's this other myth. If it's meant to be, it will be. Oh my goodness, really? Imagine if you said that about your job. So, you got out of school and you went to university and then you thought, okay, I'm ready for a job now. But if it's meant to be, it will be. And I'm going to just sit here and wait around until it happens, if it's meant to be. Okay. So in the case of a job, in the case of you want a new car, you want a house, you go out and you make the effort. You'll put out your CV, you'll spread the message until you get the job that you want, right? If you have your own business, you're not going to sit around and say, I hope all the customers or clients find me somehow. If it's meant to be, it will be. We don't do this. We go after the things we want. So why is it any different with a life partner? This is one of the most important decisions you are ever going to make in your life, right? So why wouldn't you put in the effort? And then one of the other big myths is, I'm too busy at work. And I'm going to call you out on this one. If this is what you say, I'm too busy. I don't have the time. I don't have the time to date. I don't have the time to meet people. This is another brick in the wall because we're using the work to hide behind, right? All of us, you, me, Richard Branson, Elon Musk, whoever, all have 24 hours in the same day, right? All the people that have the same job title as you have, but are also in relationships, are proving to you that this is a myth and not a fact. Okay? So the second key. So the first key is we need to get rid of all of these blocks. Some of the blocks are mental blocks. It's how we think in terms of relationships. Some of the blocks are emotional blocks. It's because we have this hurt, this pain, this feeling of rejection, all of that inside of us, and we're not letting love in. And some of those blocks are behavioral blocks. So your best friend is inviting you out to a party and there's going to be some new people. Then you say, no, I just want to be home and I want to be in my PJs and I want to watch Netflix. And so behavioral blocks where we're not really putting ourselves out, right? Once we remove these blocks, in other words, we've dismantled the wall. We've taken all these bricks apart and we're saying, no, that's not serving me. That's not serving. Let me heal these emotional wounds. Let me shift my mindset. Let me not start, taking different kind of action here. So once we dismantle the wall, we remove all the blocks, we come to a neutral place. So now here we are. And before we go out and try to attract this partner into our lives, the second step, the second key is radical self-love. So when we get to that point where we look at who we are and we can say, me minus all the hurt, me minus all the limiting beliefs about love and relationships and partners, right? Minus all of that, who am I? And once you start seeing yourself, loving yourself, really, truly falling in love with who you are, what happens is you become radiant. Suddenly it's like you're visible again. And that word radiant is the most commonly used word when people do the program that I have called Radical Self-Love, right? That people in their lives start noticing them and start saying, you look radiant. What are you doing differently? All right? So when we fall in love with ourselves, our lives, what we do, who we are, how we show up, when we really, really fall in love with ourselves, we make better choices. Because think about someone in your life that you truly love and adore. You will never treat that person badly. You will never allow them to step into a toxic relationship, right? So if you really, really love yourself, you're going to make better choices when it comes to a partner. You're going to have higher standards. You will not settle because now you know who you are and you know what you have to offer. So you're not going to ever settle for less than that. You're going to trust yourself because relationships, falling in love, all of it, yes, it is a risk. There's always a chance you're going to get hurt. But because you've built yourself up, you're able to set clearer boundaries. You're able to ask for what it is you want. And you trust that no matter what happens outside of you, you can handle it, right? And you show up with a whole lot more confidence when you are feeling and experiencing radical self-love. So that is your second key. And your third key to attracting true love is clarity and what I call alignment. So clarity means when you know yourself, minus all the hurt and the pain, minus all those limiting beliefs, minus those behaviors that are keeping you stuck in a pattern, minus all of that, when you really get to know who you are, that person that you genuinely love, now you have clarity in terms of what you have to offer, so you can have clarity in terms of what it is you want. A hurt person wants very different things from a healed person, right? So when you're healed and you're feeling more whole, you're feeling complete within yourself, you want very different things in a relationship compared to when you feel like I'm hurt, I'm this half person, I'm looking for this other half person to come in and complete me, and then we'll feel whole together. The wholeness has to come first. You have to feel whole within yourself. You have to step into your authenticity first, and then you attract a partner who is also whole and authentic. All right? And alignment simply means that you're lining up your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions, your feeling. You're aligning everything that you are with what it is that you want. And that's how we call it in. That's how we attract that partner to us. So we don't need to go chasing and going through 500 profiles before we find this right person, right? So that is what the alignment is about. So this is what some of the people said when they did the Radical Self-Love program. You'll notice that someone there said, I wish I did this earlier in life. The third one there, it was like 2 weeks in, and then she's already met somebody. As much as I say, this is a 4-week program, so complete it before you start using the exercises and taking the action steps to actually attract the partner into your life. But by the time you start releasing all of the blocks, you'll start to shine again. You'll start becoming visible. When you do the radical self-love exercises, now you're radiant. You're so radiant. Now you're completely visible, right? So what happens now? You have the 3 keys, right? Move the blocks, fall in love with yourself, clarity and alignment. Those are the 3 keys. So you can take this and you can do it on your own, follow those steps and attract that partner to you. Or you can do nothing. And my guess is that if you are here, there is no way that you are here and you're going to do nothing. All right. Sometimes I'm quite amazed, like somebody will send me a message and then I just scroll up to see, when did they last contact me? What's the conversation? And they would have contacted me like in 2020 or 2021. And if you don't take action, nothing in your life is going to change. So a year from now, you're going to be telling the same story. 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now, you'll tell the same story, right? And we don't want that. So either do it yourself or you can join the 4-week Radical Self-Love program and be a part of the community, or learning together, growing together, finding partners together. Sometimes they even find partners for each other because they get to know each other so well during the program. So it's 4 weeks. Cost of the program is $247 or 3,900 rands. Or an extra special offer is $5,900 for 2 people. So if you and a friend of yours wants to do this together, you can. There's a lot of support in the program because we have a WhatsApp group. If you've got questions, you can pop it in there. We have a weekly discussion group, so you can come together and say, I've done this module and there's my questions and how do I do this? Or I can't understand this. I want to take action, but I'm scared. And you have accountability buddies within the group as well, so that you're holding each other accountable. Have you completed your module? Have you done the homework? Are you really taking action? And you could be one of these people, because these are people that completed the program, and the one is saying, so she made the changes to herself. It was easier than changing others. And she said, self-love followed and the universe delivered my heart's desires. I'm in a happy, committed relationship. All right. And the other one is saying, 3 weeks into the program, I met my partner and started a beautiful relationship. It's different from my past relationships because I am a different person. I just love that. As long as we are who we are, with all our wounding, with the wall up and so on, we're going to keep attracting people that are going to reflect all those wounds back to us. But the moment we heal that, we fall in love with ourselves, we become radiant, we become visible. Now, suddenly, the confidence, we're going to start attracting very, very different people from the ones that you've attracted in the past. All right. So what's next? Before we go to the questions, if you feel this is something you want to do, you can send me a direct message on LinkedIn or Facebook, because most of you booked through one of those platforms, or you can just send me an email. Registration is to be completed by this Friday because the program starts on Tuesday next week. That's the 29th of August. So then your accountability buddies will be chosen. You will be put into the WhatsApp group, and we don't do Happy Monday, Happy Tuesday messages in that group. It is purely for the program. And then we'll have the weekly discussion as well, times 4 weeks, right? You can also join the Love Evolution groups. There's one on Facebook, LinkedIn, and there's the YouTube channel as well. And now you can unmute yourself if you've got any questions, or you can pop it in the chat, and I can try to answer that for you. With questions? It either was very clear or completely crazy.
Hi, Cass.